मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा।
श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा।
श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा।
श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा।
श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा।
श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा।
श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा।
श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा।
अच्युतं केशवं नाम नारायणं कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं हरि।
अच्युतं केशवं नाम नारायणं कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं हरि।
श्री कृष्ण
Hari Om everyone, Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you for joining us for the sixth session of Bhagavad Gita Parayan and Satsang, which is happening online, which is done under the banner of Gita Jayanti Singapore. Let us get started with today's proceedings. Before we get started, I just wanted to thank everyone for really this evening we have program called Krishna Manjari, which is an offering to Sri Krishna through performance arts. We have Vidushi Spurti Rao, who is going to be singing soulful bhajans today. The concert is sold out thanks to all of your support. So those of you who have already got tickets, please do join us this evening for a fantastic evening, very divine evening of listening to Krishna bhajans and also watching dance performances on the life of Lord Krishna, which is presented by the lead organization for this year, Bengali Association Singapore. So we start at 6:45 p.m. at PGP Hall today. So please, if you got the tickets, please do make it a point to attend, to celebrate young artists, both local as well as those who are joining us from India. So I will also remind you that we are going to have an art competition the following week on the 14th of September. So please do encourage children to join in large numbers for the art competition and to express themselves, their love for Krishna through the medium of art. So with those words, let me start off. We are going to have invocation prayers, followed by welcome address and the Parayan of chapters 7 and 8. And then we have a wonderful person, Jai Ganapati, who's going to be giving us a detailed explanation of chapters 7 and 8. We are very much looking forward to that. We will have Q&A followed by that before we conclude today's session. So thank you all for joining. Let us start. We'll start with the invocation prayers. May I invite Srimati Savitri Satyamurthy to chant the opening prayers. I think there's a little bit of a technical issue, so please just give us a minute. Okay, while we address the technical issues, yes. Savitriji, thank you for joining us. Yes, I need to unmute, I guess. Yes, just give me 1 second. and I will do that. Yes, you should be able to unmute right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा.
Thank you for that. Let me now invite Shri Ajay Kulkarni, who is the president of Maharashtra Mandal Singapore, to deliver the welcome address. Shri Ajay ji is professionally, he works in the finance and the banking industry for about 20 years now. He's been in the industry. He's worked also in other industries. Right now, he's in the finance industry. He's working in other industries and at various locations. He is a very avid sports enthusiast, a keen interest in wellness and fitness. Even as we talk of spiritual wellness, physical wellness is something which is very, very important to us. It is fundamental to having the spiritual wellness. So I think Ajay ji is demonstrating that. He is a very avid student of the Gita also. So welcome, Ajay ji. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me well?
We can hear you.
All right. Thank you so much. First of all, really thank you for starting the Saturday morning with such a divine and an auspicious way. Hari Om and Jai Krishna to all the devotees of Gita Jayanti Singapore. My sincere gratitude to the Gita Jayanti Singapore, Sri Srinivasanji, Snehakanji, and all the dignitaries of Gita Jayanti Singapore for welcoming me for the welcome address. Thank you so much. I also want to congratulate the Gita Jayanti to run this event for more than 2 decades and running several initiatives to celebrate various events, which is kind of leading to Havan and to understand Gita and its immortal message. It's really important, that in the 21st century, how the Gita and the lessons of that are kind of helping us in terms of our modern lifestyle. Of course, I'm not really qualified enough to talk about it, but as I've said earlier, I'm just kind of beginning to learn Gita Patan, the Likhit Gita, etc. So I'm just finding some benefits and the very reason why I got attracted towards that. So really congratulate to the entire committee, entire the Gita Jayanti Singapore, for running it so nicely and for such a long period. It does really take a lot of efforts to run some such event with such a good numbers for more than 2 decades. So congratulations again. Maharashtra Mandal Singapore is also been associated with Gita Jayanti Singapore for number of years now, and Maharashtra Mandal Singapore, which we call it as for short called MMS, had been the lead organization in 2012. I think another benefit in Singapore, and of course, one of the initiatives of Gita Patan, and why we are here, all of us today, that's also resonating the social fabric. Singapore is a small place. It also goes with one nation, racial harmony, one ethos, and we all kind of demonstrated together. So this year, BAS is the lead organization. We are kind of coming, participating. I see several other participants from other communities as well. And the initiatives like Gita, Patan, or any other cultural exchanges, it really kind of helps us bind us together. So it's really really nice again that beyond what we actually is the learning of Gita, what the social fabric is, the cultural exchanges are. So it really kind of brings in several other benefits to us individually, to the society, and the people of multiple different societies. So it's really amazing benefits of that. I'll just take maybe a couple of minutes, just to quickly talk what Maharashtra Mandal is. Not taking so much time or diverting the topic, but how it is related to the events what we do. So we are like we are a social organization, established since 1994, more than 30 years in Singapore, with growing member base, which we have like more than 1,000 active members today, almost 6,000 user base. Obviously, some floating crowd people keep coming and leaving Singapore, etc. We do a lot of activities, not just necessarily on the religious one, but also cultural related, sports related, literature related. We run a Marathi school for kids to kind of understand what our language is. Now, why I'm mentioning this is also because the very reason we or you guys are actually running the Gita Jayanti and the Pathan is purely to kind of uh, give the benefits what Gita actually brings. So the cultural values are so important. So similarly, what our objective really is to kind of um, spread the keep the language alive, keep the culture alive amongst the kid, and also to kind of demonstrate what the Maharashtrian culture is. And it's all India is all about that, right? And when we are outside of India, we are all Indians first, and then comes the rest. But then within that, we kind of demonstrate. So that's Maharashtra Mandal of various several activities we do. We in fact recently concluded the Ganesh festival at Owen Road, opposite Holiday Inn and Ferrer Road, Ferrer Park Hospital. I was very happy and glad that Srinivasanji could actually make it. It was a very divine, grand, and auspicious Ganesh festival which we conducted for 5 days. Um I mean, again, the festival attracted several devotees, various communities. They came, they perform a lot of cultural things, and these are the basic values what we actually do, which kind of help us fostering the social bonds and share a lot of cultural experiences. So that's Maharashtra Mandals. It kind of goes very closely with what you people are doing from the Gita Pathan perspective. At an individual level, some people like me, some members of Maharashtra Mandal, they are also been perpetually doing lot of Gita Pathan, the Likhit Gita the thing, and there are a large group of people. I was talking to Srinivasanji the other day that in the future, if you could actually bring these groups along, and collectively the objective is still the same. What you are doing, what other people are doing. So if we can actually bring all the people along, on one platform, that would be really great. So I'll just probably move on to a little bit of my very limited experience, and I'm actually feeling really blessed that when I started my journey with Gita chanting and the writing the Likhit one, one of my friends who actually said, we were just talking, and he just told me that what are the benefits, or how the 21st century benefits Gita actually brings in our life. So, when we actually are working in a very cruel world, when we are actually in a rat race, the competition, so the way he kind of explained and really got me really attracted towards that is it brings a mental clarity, it brings the focus, it actually gets that memory improved, problem solving, leadership skill. I mean, I don't the list kind of goes on and on. But what really really touched me was in the competition, in the most competitive world, technically speaking, these days everybody has got everything, but when we kind of pick up one shloka or anything from Gita, it really kind of gives that emotional well-being, even lead to the physical fitness, and that's exactly what I've stated earlier. Uh, so by promoting the selflessness and providing the timeless wisdom, and Gita has been there for several years, which is still relevant for all ages, for all age groups, for all sorts of people in the community, which is really really and kind of eventually help us with the more balanced and the meaningful life. So my experience had been when we started chanting, it was really, I mean, initially it was not easy to understand, but when you kind of keep going deeper, so if you start off, let's say, with one adhyay, you take one shloka, I mean, it doesn't make complete sense at that point in time, but when you kind of stay on that thought, when you kind of keep moving, then it kind of keeps like a chain. Everything starts making sense. So that was my limited experience. I'm still a beginner, aspiring to kind of continue with the Gita chanting, understanding the shlokas. The idea really was to kind of start by hearting as many shlokas possible, but journey kind of continues. My another experience on the writing or the Likhit Bhagavad Gita shlokas was to, once you start understanding the meaning of it, when you start writing, it really helped me understand a little bit more deeply and the teaching, because these days the physical writing, not the typing, is just becoming pretty much distinct. So that was also one very different experience. It's really the self-realization when you actually write something, and you just need to really be focusing on that. I really found it was, even if it's only for, like, in one adhyay, if you just write like 5 or 6 shlokas in a day, it still takes you like 10-15 minutes if you really want to peacefully do that. And the amount of focus it brings in, it's really phenomenal. So again, I congratulate Gita Jayanti Singapore, that for, as you are encouraging, and I also encourage all the people who are watching, all the devotees who are following the Gita Jayanti thing. Please practice this. This is definitely going to be helpful, and it'll really be kind of an overall um uh, well-being kind of thing for all of us. I'll just maybe say one other thing, the connection. So I spoke about Maharashtrian culture. I spoke about what MMS is actually doing. This year is the 750th year of Gnaneshwari completion. So Gnaneshwari basically, it is a Marathi commentary and the translation of Sanskrit Bhagavad Gita. This was composed in the 13th century by Sant Dhaneshwar, and he was just at the age of 16. This really expands upon the original Gita's 700 verses with more than 9,000 verses. We call in Marathi as OVs, and this actually explains the Gita's philosophical and spiritual teaching. So if you actually see, there's like a lot of ancient, very very old connection within, so Maharashtra is also called as, the Santa Bhumi, call it as Marathi, which is the the land of saints. And it's really kind of connects the Sanskrit one into Marathi in a very philosophical and spiritual teaching, and that is really accessible to common people. So if you don't understand that, what are the meanings of it, etc. So these are very nice connection between, the Gnaneshwari, the way it is written, and the Gita. So I think lastly I would say, just say for today's, the Patan is on Gita chapter 7th and 8. Obviously, there are people who are more qualified will be talking about it, but then chapter 7 really talks about, focuses on the divine knowledge, with Krishna explaining his essence of all existence, from the taste of water to the intelligence of intelligent. Chapter 8 really talks a lot about goal of action, and the two parts about that. So I'm really keen to kind of understand from Ganapati ji that how chapter 7 and 8 unfolds. And once again, I thank the committee for inviting me for the welcome address. Really looking forward to it, and the kind of work which you guys are doing. Really appreciate it, and thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Ajay ji, for your kind words and for beautifully also summarizing some of the work that Gita Jayanti is doing. We're very thankful for the support which Maharashtra Mandal Singapore has provided Gita Jayanti over the years, and we look forward to even more support in the coming years. One of the things which activities of Gita Jayanti which Ajay ji mentioned is what is called Likita Gita Samarpan. So this is where, in addition to learning to chant the Gita, we invite everyone to actually write the Gita of really imbibing and really helping. It's a very powerful learning technique in addition to chanting, writing. So this year we are going to have the Mokshada Ekadashi Parayan on the Gita Jayanti day on the 1st of December, which is a Monday. So what we are doing is we are inviting everyone to write the Gita in their own language. So this is Gita Jayanti's webpage. So what you're basically doing is we are inviting you to write the Gita Jayanti in whichever language you choose, Hindi, Marathi, Bengali, whichever, or English, whatever you choose, whatever is your mother tongue or English, feel free to write it. And on the Gita Jayanti day, you can bring your hand-written copy of the Gita, place it at the altar where, we've got about 400 people who are going to join us for the chanting. So with all of those vibrations, after the puja is done, after the Sampurna Gita Parayanam of all of the 18 chapters are done, you can take that back, energized with all of those chantings to your own house and have it in your puja. So this is a great way. Thank you, Ajay ji, for reminding us, for reminding me to talk about that, and for
Thank you.
no, wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. We will now proceed with the proceedings for the Gita Parayan. We are going to start by having Gita Dhyanam. May I invite Savitri ji to get us started to chant the Gita Dhyanam, please.
I'll start with Gita Brahman. पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोक्ता गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता भुक्तं गीतामृतं महत् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तकः केशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलम् गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम् नानाख्यानककेशरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम् लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरहः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद्भारतपङ्कजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसि न श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः अथ सप्तमोऽध्यायः ज्ञानविज्ञानयोगः श्रीभगवानुवाच मय्यासक्तमनः पार्थ योगं युञ्जन्मदाश्रयः असंशयं समग्रं मां यथा ज्ञास्यसि तत् शृणु ज्ञानं तेऽहं सविज्ञानम् इदं वक्ष्याम्यशेषतः यज्ञात्वा नेह भूयोऽन्यत् ज्ञातव्यमवशिष्यते मनुष्याणां सहस्रेषु कश्चिद्यतति सिद्धये यततामपि सिद्धानां कश्चिन्मां वेति तत्त्वतः भूमिरापो नलो वायुः खं मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहङ्कार इतीयं मे भिन्ना प्रकृतिरष्टधा अपरेयमितस्त्वन्यां प्रकृतिं विद्धि मे पराम् जीवभूतां महाबाहो ययेदं धार्यते जगत् एतद्योनीनि भूतानि सर्वाणीत्युपधारय अहं कृत्स्नस्य जगतः प्रभवः प्रलयस्तथा मत्तः परतरं नान्यत् किञ्चिदस्ति धनञ्जय मयि सर्वमिदं प्रोतं सूत्रे मणिगणा इव रसोऽहमप्सु कौन्तेय प्रभास्मि शशिसूर्ययोः प्रणवः सर्ववेदेषु शब्दः खे पौरुषं नृषु पुण्यो गन्धः पृथिव्यां च तेजश्चास्मि विभावसौ जीवनं सर्वभूतेषु तपश्चास्मि तपस्विषु बीजं मां सर्वभूतानां विद्धि पार्थ सनातनम् बुद्धिर्बुद्धिमतामस्मि तेजस्तेजस्विनामहम् बलं बलवतां चाहं कामरागविवर्जितं धर्माविरुद्धो भूतेषु कामोऽस्मि भरतर्षभ ये चैव सात्विका भावाः राजसास्तामसाश्च ये मत्त एवेति तान् विद्धि न त्वहं तेषु ते मयि त्रिभिर्गुणमयैर्भावैः येभिः सर्वमिदं जगत् मोहितं नाभिजानाति मामेभ्यः परमव्ययम् दैवी ह्येषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्यया मामेव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायामेतां तरन्ति ते न मां दुष्कृतिनो मूढाः प्रपद्यन्ते नराधमाः माययापहृतज्ञानाः आसुरं भावमाश्रिताः चतुर्विधा भजन्ते मां जनाः सुकृतिनोऽर्जुन तो जिज्ञासुरर्थार्थी ज्ञानी च भरतर्षभ तेषां ज्ञानी नित्ययुक्तः एकभक्तिर्विशिष्यते प्रियो हि ज्ञानिनोत्यर्थम् अहं स च मम प्रियः उदारा सर्व एवैते ज्ञानी त्वात्मैव मे मतम् आस्थितः स हि युक्तात्मा मामेवानुत्तमां गतिम् बहूनां जन्मनामन्ते ज्ञानवान् मां प्रपद्यते वासुदेवः सर्वमिति स महात्मा सुदुर्लभः कामैस्तैर्स्तैर्हृतज्ञानाः प्रपद्यन्तेऽन्यदेवताः तं तं नियममास्थाय प्रकृत्या नियता स्वया यो यो यां यां तनुं भक्तः श्रद्धयार्चितुमिच्छति तस्य तस्याचलां श्रद्धां तामेव विदधाम्यहम् सतया श्रद्धया युक्तः तस्याराधनमीहते लभते च ततः कामान् मयैव विहितान् हितान् अन्तवत्तु फलं तेषां तद्भवद्यल्पमेधसां देवान् देवयजो यान्ति मद्भक्ता यान्ति मामपि अव्यक्तं व्यक्तिमापन्नं मन्यन्ते मामबुद्धयः परं भावमजानन्त ममाव्ययमनुत्तमम् नाहं प्रकाशः सर्वस्य योगमाया समावृतः मूढोऽयं नाभिजानाति लोको मामजमव्ययम् वेदाहं समतीतानि वर्तमानानि चार्जुन भविष्यानि च भूतानि मां तु वेद न कश्चन इच्छाद्वेषः समुत्थेन द्वन्द्वमोहेन भारत सर्वभूतानि सम्मोहं सर्गे यान्ति परन्तप येषां त्वन्तगतं पापं जनानां पुण्यकर्मणां ते द्वन्द्वमोहनिर्मुक्ताः भजन्ते मां दृढव्रताः जरामरणमोक्षाय मामाश्रित्य यतन्ति ये ते ब्रह्म तद्विदुः कृत्स्नम् अध्यात्मं कर्म चाखिलम् साधिभूताधिदैवं माम् साधियज्ञं च ये विदुः प्रयाणकालेऽपि च माम् ते विदुर्युक्तचेतसः ॐ तत्सत् इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे ज्ञानविज्ञानयोगो नाम सप्तमोऽध्यायः।
अथ अष्टमोऽध्यायः अक्षरब्रह्मयोगः। अर्जुन उवाच किं तद्ब्रह्म किमध्यात्मम् किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तम अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः। श्रीभगवानुवाच अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमं स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते भूतभावोद्भवकरः विसर्गः कर्मसंज्ञितः अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषश्चाधिदैवतम् अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभृतां वर अन्तकाले च मामेव स्मरन्मुक्त्वा कलेवरं यः प्रयाति समद्भावं याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः यं यं वापि स्मरन् भावं त्यजत्यन्ते कलेवरं तं तमेवैति कौन्तेय सदा तद्भावभावितः तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु मामनुस्मरयुध्य च मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिः मामे वैश्यस्य संशयम् अभ्यासयोगयुक्तेन चेतसा नान्यगामिना परमं पुरुषं दिव्यं याति पार्थानुचिन्तयन् कविं पुराणमनुशासितारम् अनोरणीयां समनुस्मरेद्यः सर्वस्य धातारमचिन्त्य रूपम् आदित्यवर्णं तमसः परस्तात् प्रयाणकाले मनसाचलेन भक्त्या युक्तो योगबलेन चैव भ्रुवोर्मध्ये प्राणमावेक्ष्य सम्यक् सतं परं पुरुषमुपैति दिव्यम् यदक्षरं वेदविदो वदन्ति विशन्ति यद्यतयो वीतरागाः यदिच्छन्तो ब्रह्मचर्यं चरन्ति तत्ते पदं सङ्ग्रहेण प्रवक्ष्ये सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनोहृदि निरुध्य च मूढ्याधायात्मनः प्राणम् आस्थितो योगधारणाम् ओमित्येकाक्षरं ब्रह्म व्याहरन् मामनुस्मरन् यः प्रयाति त्यजन् देहं स याति परमां गतिम् अनन्यचेताः सततं यो मां स्मरति नित्यशः तस्याहं सुलभः पार्थ नित्ययुक्तस्य योगिनः मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयमशाश्वतम् नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमां गताः आब्रह्म भुवनाल्लोकाः पुनरावर्तिनोऽर्जुन मामुपेत्य तु कौन्तेय पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते सहस्रयुगपर्यन्तम् अहर्यद्ब्रह्मणो विदुः रात्रिर्युगसहस्रान्तं तेहोरात्रविदो जनाः अव्यक्ताद्व्यक्तयः सर्वाः प्रभवन्त्यः रागमे रात्र्यागमे प्रलीयन्ते तत्रैवाव्यक्तसंज्ञके भूतग्रामः स एवायं भूत्वा भूत्वा प्रलीयते रात्र्यागमे वशः पार्थ प्रभवत्यः रागमे परस्तस्मात् भावो व्यक्तो व्यक्तान् सनातनः यस्य सर्वेषु भूतेषु नश्यत्सु न विनश्यति अव्यक्तोऽक्षर इत्युक्तः तमाहुः परमां गतिं यं प्राप्य न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम पुरुषः स परः पार्थ भक्त्या लभ्यस्त्वनन्यया यस्यान्तस्थानि भूतानि येन सर्वमिदं ततं यत्र काले त्वनावृत्तिम् आवृत्तिं चैव योगिनः प्रयाता यान्ति तं कालं वक्ष्यामि भरतर्षभ अग्निर्ज्योतिहरः शुक्लः षण्मासा उत्तरायणं तत्र प्रयाता गच्छन्ति ब्रह्मविदो जनाः धूमो रात्रिस्तथा कृष्णः षण्मासा दक्षिणायनं तत्र चान्द्रमसं ज्योतिः योगी प्राप्य निवर्तते शुक्लकृष्णे गतिह्येते जगतः शाश्वते मते एकया यात्यनावृत्तिम् अन्यया वर्तते पुनः नैते सृति पार्थ जानम् योगे मुह्यति कश्चन तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु योगयुक्तो भवार्जुन वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपस्सु चैव दानेषु यत् पुण्यफलं प्रदिष्टम् अत्येति तत्सर्वमिदं विदित्वा योगी परं स्थानमुपैति चाद्यम् ॐ तत्सत् इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे अक्षरब्रह्मयोगो नाम अष्टमोऽध्यायः।
We will now chant the Gita Dhyanam, Gita Mahatmyam. Sorry.
गीताशास्त्रमिदं पुण्यं यः पठेत् प्रयतः पुमान् विष्णोः पदमवाप्नोति भयशोकादिवर्जितः गीताध्ययनशीलस्य प्राणायामपरस्य च नैव सन्ति हि पापानि पूर्वजन्मकृतानि च मलनिर्मोचनं पुंसां जलस्नानं दिने दिने सकृद्गीताम्भसि स्नानं संसारमलनाशनं गीतासु गीता कर्तव्या किमन्यैश्शास्त्रविस्तरैः या स्वयं पद्मनाभस्य मुखपद्माद्विनिसृता भारतामृतसर्वस्वं विष्णोर्वक्त्राद्विनिसृतं गीता गङ्गोदकं पीत्वा पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते सर्वोपनिषदो गावः दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् एकं शास्त्रं देवकी पुत्रगीतम् एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मन्त्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा.
Thank you. With this, we conclude the chanting of chapter 7 and chapter 8 of the Gita. Thank you, Savitriji, and thank you, Rashmika. I now have the pleasure of inviting Sri Jai Ganapati Ji to deliver this session's lecture on chapters 7 and 8 of the Gita. Just a quick introduction before Sri Jai Ganapati Ji starts his talk. Sri Jai Ganapati Ji is a student of Vedanta and the disciple of Swami Paramarthananda. He was a career banker and he left the profession in 2017 with a very strong motivation to devote more time for Vedantic study. So his initial phase of scriptural study, of the Shastric study, was done under various acharyas of Chinmaya mission. Later, he studied the advanced Prakarana Granthas, Bhagavad Gitas, and a few Upanishads under the guidance of Swami Paramarthananda. So he continues his Swadhyaya, he continues his sadhana under guidance of Swamiji. So his focus, over the past few years has been to bring the essence of Swami Paramarthananda's teachings to all of us, without any dilution whatsoever. So we are really, it's a privilege and an honor to have Jai Ganapati Ji here. Over to you, Jai Ganapati Ji.
Thank you, Anandji. Can I start?
Please do.
Yeah. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam Shruti-smriti-purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad-pada-shankaram Loka-shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya-kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah-punagat Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti-bheda-vibhagine Vyomavad-vyapta-dehaya Dakshina-murtaye Namahat Satchidananda-rupaya Vishvot-patyadi-hetave Tapatraya-vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Numagat Samasta-jana-kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Paramarthanandayatim Prasthanatraya-bodhakam Satchidananda-rupam Tam Acharyendram Upasmage. Hari Om, and I want to thank, at the outset, I want to thank Gita Jayanti for this opportunity to speak on Jnana Vijnana Yoga and Akshara Brahma Yoga. I'll devote a little bit of an extra time on Jnana Vijnana Yoga, but I'll still hopefully finish in 1 hour, maybe 1 hour, 5 minutes. So we are commencing today the second Shatkam of the Gita, called the Madhyama Shatkam. Madhyama Shatkam runs from chapters 7 to 12. Like Prathama Shatkam, Madhyama Shatkam is also dealing with 3 main topics. The first topic is Ishvara Swarupam. What is the nature of God? In technical language, we say Tat Padartha. The second topic is Ishvara Anugraha. Ishvara Anugraha means what? The grace of Ishvara, which is available in plenty, and it is for us to go and tap this grace. And the third topic is Ishvara Upasanam, which means meditation on Saguna Ishvara in any particular form which I like. With this background, we will see the summary of chapter 7. We will divide chapter 7 into 4 main topics. In verses 1 to 3, Bhagavan is making an introduction of the subject matter. What is the knowledge of Saguna and Nirguna Ishvara? That is what we are going to study in chapter 7. In verses 4 to 12, Bhagavan is dealing with Ishvara Swarupam. This is the main teaching of chapter 7. What is the nature of Ishvara? From verses 13 to 19, Bhagavan is diagnosing the problem of samsara and also giving a lasting solution. This is a very, very important aspect of chapter 7 that we should focus on. And verses 20 to 30, Bhagavan deals with two types of bhakti, Sakama Bhakti, Nishkama Bhakti. The first topic, verses 1 to 3. Bhagavan is introducing the subject matter here. The knowledge of nature of Ishvara is divided into two topics, Jnanam and Vijnanam. That is why this chapter is called Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Jnanam refers to the knowledge of Saguna Ishvara. Vijnanam refers to knowledge of Nirguna Ishvara. Now, the Nirguna Ishvara is what we call as Brahman in Vedanta. And Bhagavan is glorifying this knowledge and saying in the first 3 verses, glorifying this knowledge and saying it is a very, very rare knowledge and it is the only liberating knowledge. It is the only knowledge that is going to take me out of samsara. If you want Atyantika Dukkha Nivrti Paramananda Prapti, there is no other knowledge which is going to give you. It is only this knowledge that is going to give you. Second topic. In verses 4 to 12, Bhagavan is dealing with Ishvara Swarupa. What is the nature of Ishvara? Ishvara is that principle which consists of two aspects. The two aspects are Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti. Para Prakriti is the consciousness principle and Apara Prakriti is the matter principle. Which means Ishvara is a mixture of consciousness principle and matter principle. Because Ishvara is a mixture of consciousness principle and matter principle, obviously the concept of universe is taken up. How did this universe come about? In pretty much every tradition, God is depicted only as an intelligent cause. God as a material cause is never spoken about or conveniently forgotten. But our scriptures are categorical in saying Ishvara is the Nimitta Karanam and Upadana Karanam. Nimitta Karanam, intelligent cause. Upadana Karanam, material cause. Instrumental cause may come to your mind, but instrumental cause is always included in the intelligent cause. Now, creation of anything requires both the intelligent cause and the material cause. Nothing can be created without these two causes. To create a table, a carpenter is required, wood is also required. To create a pot, you need clay and you need earth. Create ornaments, you need gold and you need a goldsmith. Now, if Ishvara is the intelligent cause and the material cause, we can safely conclude that this entire universe is a manifestation of Ishvara. Now, this concept is also not there in other traditions. It is only in our tradition we say this universe is nothing but manifestation of Bhagavan. Now, Bhagavan is deriving some very important corollaries based on this statement. If gold is the cause and ornament is the effect, then we can conclude that ornaments are not separate from gold. They are gold in another form. There is no substance called ornaments. There is only one substance called gold, and all the ornaments I am seeing is nothing but name and form. In the same way, Ishvara is the Nimitta Upadana Karanam for this universe, and the world is the effect. Then we can draw the same corollary that the world is not separate from Ishvara. Vacharambanam vikaro nama dheyam mrittiket satyam. Chandogya Upanishad. There is no substance called pot. There is only one substance called clay. The pot, all the pot that we see is nothing but Vacharambanam vikaro namadeyam. It is only a lip service that I am giving by giving a name and a form. In the same way, there is no substance called universe. There is only one substance called Ishvara. And the universe is nothing but name and form. This means the universe is nothing but manifestation of Ishvara. In other words, this universe is Vishwarupa Avatara that is permanently available for our darshan whenever we want to have a darshan of Ishvara. When I want to have a darshan of gold, I don't need to go here and there. I can get darshan of gold by simply looking at the ornaments that are available in our house. In the same way, when I want to have darshan of Ishvara, I don't need to go anywhere. I can just look at this world and say, this world is nothing but manifestation of Ishvara, hence Ishvara alone. When someone is giving you a sweet, either a stranger or a known person, you may highly likely accept or not accept. Depending on who the person is, you may accept or not accept. Even when you accept, you may decide to eat the sweet or decide not to eat the sweet. But when the same person who is giving you the sweet tells you, this is the Mahaprasadam from Badrinath temple, your whole attitude towards that sweet changes. You will look at that sweet with reverence and divinity. Place it on both your eyes. Thank the person who has given you that prasadam and then eat a little bit of that sweet. Then share it with family and friends. In the same way, when I look at the world and remember that it is Ishvara alone appearing as his universe, my entire attitude towards this universe changes. I consider the universe as a divine manifestation of that Ishvara alone. Bhagavan says in 7.8, Krishna says in 7.8, Prasohamapsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayogo pranavas sarva vedeshu shabdhakke paurusham rishu. When you drink water, Bhagavan is saying, when you drink water, the taste in that water is me. When you see the sun and moon, that brilliance is me. When you hear a sound, that sound principle is me. So the concept that we just discussed, that this universe is nothing but manifestation of Ishvara, is being confirmed by Bhagavan through this verse. We concluded earlier, right at the beginning, that Ishvara is a mixture of Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti. Para Prakriti, consciousness principle, Apara Prakriti, matter principle. We also concluded that the world is nothing but a manifestation of Ishvara. With these conclusions, we can now draw a new conclusion that the world is a mixture of Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti. If so, what is the Para Prakriti aspect in this universe and what is the Apara Prakriti aspect in this universe? Bhagavan says, whatever we experience in this universe is Apara Prakriti, is matter principle. This means the entire experienced universe is Apara Prakriti. Experienced body is also Apara Prakriti. Not just my body, every other body that I experience is also Apara Prakriti. Experienced mind, my mind, I can only experience my mind. My mind is also Apara Prakriti. Every other mind is also Apara Prakriti. If you are saying everything in this universe is Apara Prakriti, where is this Para Prakriti? Bhagavan says, do not search for Para Prakriti. The very searcher I is Para Prakriti. The very searcher I is Para Prakriti. This I is the experiencer of everything in this universe. And this I is this consciousness principle. This I is the Paramarthika I, which is real me. I wrongly think that I am the Vyavaharika I, and I associate the I with my intelligence, with my body, with my mind, with my body, with my intelligence, with my health, with my wealth, with my friends. All this is Vyavaharika I. This I is actually the Paramarthika I, and that Paramarthika I is what is called as Para Prakriti in chapter 7. Now the question is, can I not experience this Para Prakriti? Can I not experience this consciousness principle? Oh, consciousness principle can never be experienced as an object. that which is the very subject of experience and never the object of experience is the consciousness principle. Swamiji says, Paramarthananda Swamiji says, continuous, non-specific, non-material experience is consciousness experience. Continuous, non-specific, non-material experience is consciousness experience. By saying continuous, what is indicated? Consciousness is ever experienced as aham, I, all the time. By saying non-specific, what is indicated? Consciousness is not a specific experience. It is because of consciousness, every experience is happening to me. I am experiencing the world because of consciousness principle. In other words, consciousness is not an arriving, departing experience. Every experience arrives and it departs, but consciousness is there before the arrival, during the experience, after the departure of this worldly experience. By saying non-material, what is indicated? Consciousness is not an experience of anything in this universe. It is not an experience of anything in this universe. This consciousness principle is called Paraprakriti, and that Paraprakriti is nothing else but me. My Paramarthika me, not the Vyavaharika me, not my transactional nature, but my real nature. Bhagavan says in 2.25, Avyakto yamachintyo yam avikaryo yamuchyate. So Bhagavan says this Paraprakriti is avyaktam, achintyam. He's borrowing the concept from Upanishads only. Kaivalya describes it beautifully. Kaivalya Upanishad describes it beautifully. Achintyam avyaktam anantarupam shivam prashantam amritam brahmayonim. So we'll focus on these two words, achintyam and avyaktam. So avyaktam means Paraprakriti cannot be perceived by my senses. Avyaktam, unmanifest, cannot be perceived by my senses, which means it is indriya agocharam. My eyes cannot see it. My ears cannot hear it. My tongue cannot taste it. My skin cannot touch it. My nose cannot smell it. So it is indriya agocharam. Achintyam. Achintya means this Paraprakriti cannot be conceived by the mind also. It is mano agocharam. If mind cannot think about this consciousness principle, and if senses cannot perceive this consciousness principle, please explain what is this blessed consciousness principle? Because we are saying mind cannot experience it, conceive it, experience it. Senses cannot touch, smell, etc. If so, what is this consciousness principle? We will go to the Upanishads. We will go to Kena Upanishad. Uttama Adhikari, one of the best students of this Upanishad, is asking this question. Keneshitam patati preshitam manah kena prana pratama praiti yuktaha keneshitam vachamimam vadanti chakshushrotram kavudevo yunakti. Kena Upanishad 1.1, mantra 1.1. The student is asking the Guru. Very first mantra, the student is asking this to the Guru. Willed by whom does the mind proceed to its object? Commanded by whom does the prana function? At whose will do men utter speech? What is the intelligence that directs the eyes and the ears? So by using eyes and ears, he is covering all the jnanendriyas, the 5 organs of perception. By using speech, he is covering the 5 karmendriyas, pancha karmendriyas, the 5 organs of action. And then he is also taking a prana and he is also taking a mind. By using mind, he is covering the subtle body. So subtle body is covered, pranas are covered, organs of action are covered, organs of perception are covered. Only thing that is left out is gross body. That is already figured out is not what is this consciousness principle. So he wants to know what is this principle by which all these things function. The Guru gives a very cryptic answer. Very difficult to understand the answer, but very easy to explain because Bhashyakara, Bhagavan Adi Shankara has explained it, and so we all follow his explanation. So Guru's response, mantra 1.2. Shrotrasya shrotram manaso manoyat vacho havacham sahu pranasya pranaha. So he says, the Guru says, this intelligence principle which you're asking is the ear of the ear, is the mind of the mind. It is the prana of the prana, is the nose of the nose, speech of the speech. So if we don't have Bhashyakara's commentary, we will say, hey, I prefer the question to the answer because the answer doesn't give me any information. The answer does not mean it is another ear, it is another mind, it is another prana. It means that consciousness principle or that subject because of which my ear hears, because of which my mind thinks, because of which my nose smells. Thus, the topic of Ishvara Swarupam has been completed. We'll move on to third topic. From verses 13 to 19, Bhagavan is diagnosing the disease of samsara. Before that, one thing I forgot to mention, I took up Jiva Swarupam to explain Ishvara Swarupam. Kena Upanishad is explaining the Jiva Swarupam. I took up Jiva Swarupam to explain Ishvara Swarupam because there's no difference between the two, and the Ishvara Swarupam is also easy to understand compared to Jiva Swarupam. But this mantra came handy, so I took this mantra to explain Ishvara Swarupam. Third topic. From verses 13 to 19, Bhagavan diagnoses the disease of samsara and gives a permanent solution. By now I know, because of Ishvara Swarupam being explained, by now I know that world is a mixture of para prakriti and apara prakriti. Because we said Ishvara is a mixture of para prakriti and apara prakriti. Ishvara is the nimitta upadana karanam. So world is the effect, and so world is also a mixture of para prakriti and apara prakriti. But I am totally preoccupied with apara prakriti, and I am spending all my life in the pursuit of apara prakriti. What am I seeking? I am seeking security. I am seeking happiness. I am seeking fulfillment. But where am I seeking it from? I am seeking it from apara prakriti. The problem with this approach is I am seeking something that does not exist in apara prakriti. Apara prakriti does not even have 1 ounce of happiness. It does not have 1 ounce of fulfillment, give you 1 ounce of fulfillment. It does not have 1 ounce of security that it can give it to you. Why is it so? Apara prakriti, which we saw earlier, is matter principle. Matter principle by default will undergo 6-fold modification. Asti, jayate, vardate, viparinamate, apakshiyate, vinashyati. Asti, temporary existence. Jayate, birth. Vardate, growth. Viparinamate, maturity. Apakshiyate, decay. Vinashyati, destruction. That which is permanently undergoing 6-fold modification, starting from asti to starting from temporary existence to destruction, how can that which itself is not stable ever give you security, happiness, and fulfillment? It cannot. What is samsara? Diagnosis Bhagavan is giving. Expecting security, happiness, and fulfillment from apara prakriti is samsara. This does not mean I reject apara prakriti. I don't reject apara prakriti. I put apara prakriti in the place in which it belongs. Use apara prakriti for transactions, but never seek security from it. Never seek fulfillment from it. Never seek happiness from it. The only thing that is going to give me security, happiness, fulfillment is para prakriti. Why am I trapped in samsara? I am trapped in samsara because I don't know this truth. And even if I know this truth, I don't have the conviction to abide in this truth. And the truth I am abiding in is apara prakriti. But what I am seeking is security, happiness, and fulfillment, which is only available in Para Prakriti. त्रिभिर्गुणमयैर्भावैः एभिः सर्वमिदं जगत् मोहितं नाभिजानाति मामेभ्यः परमव्ययम्. Bhagavan is saying in 7.13, deluded by the three gunas of Prakriti, this universe does not know me. And what is the solution? If the universe, see, for you to understand samsara, I should know para prakriti, apara prakriti, and para prakriti. That's when I get out of samsara. But the three gunas are preventing me from knowing Bhagavan. That's what Bhagavan is saying. What is the solution? Bhagavan says, if you want Atyantika Dukkha Nivrti, Paramananda Prapti, which means permanent remedy from samsara. If you want, surrender unto me. Daivi Shesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mame Vaye Prapatyante Maya Metam Tarantite. So Bhagavan is saying, my divine Maya, which is nothing but three gunas. So we call Maya as Trigunatmika Maya. Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, Tamo Guna. The Trigunatmika Maya is not easy to overcome. Who is saying this? Bhagavan is saying this. So only one who takes refuge in me with utter devotion crosses the ocean of samsara. So it appears that Bhagavan is presenting bhakti as a remedy for samsara. If Bhagavan is presenting bhakti as a remedy for samsara, we have a huge contradiction. Why is there a contradiction? In earlier chapters, especially chapter 2, Bhagavan taught us saying, Jnanam alone is the remedy for samsara. Now he is saying, bhakti is the remedy for samsara. What does Shruti Pramanam say? Shruti Pramanam also says Jnanam is the only remedy for samsara. What does Purusha Suktam say? Nanya Pantha Ayanaya Vidyate, which means there is only one path for moksha. There is no alternative path. You want to attain moksha, you have to go to a Shrotriya Brahmanishta Guru, get Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam, abide in that Jnanam, cross the ocean of samsara. No other path is available. But now we have a contradiction. Bhagavan is saying, surrender unto me, you will cross the ocean of samsara. But Vedas are saying, Upanishads are saying that the only way you can get out of samsara is follow the path of Jnana Yoga. How do we resolve this contradiction? Can I accept that there are multiple paths for liberation? Jnana Yoga is one path, Bhakti Yoga is another path, Karma Yoga is another path, Kundalini Yoga is also another path. No way. We cannot accept it. Why? Because we follow Vedas. We don't follow anything else. When there is a contradiction, we follow Vedas. But there is no contradiction, which we will see here. When there is a contradiction, we only follow the Vedas. We don't follow other scriptures. But there is no contradiction. Why? Bhagavan's statement that bhakti is the remedy for samsara should be understood properly. Bhakti is not a particular sadhana, but it is a series of sadhanas that culminates in jnana. This is beautifully explained in chapter 12, but we are not dealing with chapter 12 today. So when Bhagavan says bhakti is the remedy for samsara, he means bhakti that culminates in jnanam is the remedy for samsara. Oh, this is your own interpretation. No. It is not my interpretation. Bhagavan is confirming this in 7.16 and 7.17. Chaturvidha bhajante mam janas sukritinorjuna artho jignasurartharthi jnani cha bharatarshabha tesham jnani nityayuktah eka bhaktir vishishyate priyo hi jnaninotyartham aham saja mama priyah. So bhakti has to go through various stages and ultimately result in knowledge. And such a bhakta is called as Jnani Bhakta in 7.16. Bhagavan is giving 4 bhaktas in 7.16. Artha Bhakta, Artharthi Bhakta, Jigyasu Bhakta, and Jnani Bhakta. I'm slightly rearranging because that is the way it should flow. Artha Bhakta, crisis Bhakta. He will only go to Bhagavan when he faces a crisis, medical crisis, financial crisis, job crisis, family crisis. He will only go to Bhagavan when there is a crisis. So we call him crisis Bhakta, Artha Bhakta, selfish Bhakta, Sakama Bhakta. Next is Artharthi Bhakta. He wants to cut deals with Bhagavan. I will start a business. Give me 10 million profit. I will give you $10,000. I am very generous. That is why I am giving you 10,000. But I'll only give it to you after the 10 million I earn, which means you have to wait. Because I trust you, but I cannot trust the world. So I want you to wait. Second type of bhakta, Artharthi Bhakta. Both are Sakama Bhaktas, selfish Bhaktas. Doesn't mean they are bad Bhaktas, which we will see later. But their priority is the world. They want to use Bhagavan as a means. Bhagavan is not a goal for them. The world is the goal for them. For them, Bhagavan is a means to attain the world, which is the goal. Then comes Jigyasu Bhakta. This Jigyasu Bhakta is a Nishkama Bhakta, is selfless Bhakta. He does not seek the world. He is seeking Bhagavan. His means is also Bhagavan. His goal is also Bhagavan. So he is Nishkama Bhakta. He is selfless Bhakta. But all these three Bhaktas are Ajnanis. Why are they Ajnanis? They are Ajnanis because they have not gone through Jnana Yoga. They have not gone to a Shrotriya Brahmanishta Guru. First, they have not built the qualification. The first two Bhaktas are selfish Bhaktas. Definitely, they don't have the qualification. The third Bhakta may have the qualification, but still he is on the path of Jnana Yoga. He is not got Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam. He is not assimilated that Jnanam. So, he is also an Ajnani. This means all these three Bhaktas are firmly in triangular format. What is a triangular format? Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara is a triangular format. I am the tormented Jiva. Jagat is the tormentor. Ishvara is my savior. Whenever I have a problem, I will go to Ishvara. This is the Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara format, triangular format. So this also confirms, this attitude of these three bhaktas also confirms that they firmly abide in Apara Prakriti. Now come to Jnani Bhakta, the fourth Bhakta. The Jnani Bhakta has got out of triangular format. He is in binary format. What is a binary format? Atma, Anatma. He knows that the entire universe means what? This body, every other body. This mind, every other mind. And the inert world. Everything in this universe is Anatma. And who am I? I am Atma. So I am the Para Prakriti, and this entire universe is Apara Prakriti. This the Jnani knows. So he is in a binary format. So as a person who is in the path of spirituality, my progress should be from world dependence to God dependence to self-dependence. Initially, I say, I am a very hardworking person. I am a very intelligent person. I don't need any support. I will find a nice job. I will get a good salary. I will live well. Then later I graduate. I say, yeah, all that I do, but I need the grace of Ishvara to attain that. So from world dependence, I shift to God dependence. Then from God dependence, I go to a Shrotriya Brahmanishta Guru who gives me Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam, and then I become self-dependent. Self-dependent means what? Atma dependent. I have got the Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam, and so I don't depend on this universe. My dependence is Para Prakriti. I am also Para Prakriti. This does not mean the world does not exist. When the Jnani says the world is unreal, it does not mean the world does not exist. The world seemingly exists. The world seemingly exists. So the Jnani abides in this statement, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. So he says Brahman alone is real, the world is unreal. It seemingly exists and I can transact with it. Even in dream world, I can transact with the dream world. But it has got no real existence. In the same way, the waking world also does not have real existence. It has got seeming existence, but I can transact with it. So use the world for transactions, but never depend on the world for happiness, security, fulfillment. So in 7.17, Bhagavan is saying, because of this, what I just explained to you, Jnani Bhakta is the dearest to me. Okay, he's quiet about the other three bhaktas. He doesn't say anything about the other three bhaktas. So thus, bhakti culminating in jnanam is the only remedy for samsara. Now we have a problem. 4 bhaktas, Bhagavan has openly voted in favor of Jnani Bhakta. He has said nothing about the 3 bhaktas. Those 3 bhaktas are also very sincere bhaktas. Yes, given that the 2 bhaktas, Artha Bhakta, Artharthi Bhakta, they are only interested in the material world. But they are sincere bhaktas. It is not that we don't seek anything material in this world. All of us are seeking material things in the world. So Bhagavan wants to placate that 3 bhaktas and also reveal a Mahavakyam in 7.18. Udara sarva evaite jnani tvatmaiva me matam astitas sagiyuktatma mamevanuttamang gatim. So Bhagavan is clarifying that he loves all the 4 bhaktas. It is not that he loves only Jnani Bhakta. He clarifies, I love all the 4 bhaktas, but he cannot equate the 3 bhaktas to Jnani Bhakta. So what does he do? He says, I want to tell you something. The Jnani Bhakta is identical to me, because the Jnani Bhakta is identical to me and I cherish him as my own self. So Bhagavan is now describing the oneness of him and the Jnani. Because he's describing the oneness of him and the Jnani, this is a Mahavakya Shlokam. This oneness of him, Bhagavan and the Jnani, is not at the Upadhi level. It is not at the Vyavaharika level. So we should not take the primary meaning here. We can't take the Vachyartha meaning here. We have to take the Lakshyartha meaning here. The secondary meaning has to be taken. What is the secondary meaning? The oneness is in the essence of Jnani. What is the essence of Jnani? It is where is he abiding? He is abiding in Para Prakriti. And where is the Bhagavan abiding? Ever in Para Prakriti. At the Upadhi level, there is no match. Bhagavan lifted the Govardhanagiri with his little finger. Jnani cannot lift. He danced on Kaliya. Jnani cannot dance. He killed Kamsa. Jnani cannot kill. So we are not looking at the oneness at the level of the Upadhi. That is the Vachyartha. We are not taking Vachyartha. We are taking Lakshyartha, the secondary meaning. So now comes to the other 3 bhaktas. So you see the distinction. In the case of Jnani, Bhagavan and Jnani are one and the same. In the case of the other 3 bhaktas, where is their abidance? Their abidance is in the triangular format. We saw earlier, triangular format means their abidance is in Apara Prakriti, not in Para Prakriti. Jnani is abiding in Para Prakriti. So Bhagavan and Jnani are one and the same. But the other 3 bhaktas are either Dvaita bhaktas or Vishishtadvaita bhaktas. They are not Advaita bhakta yet. Hence, there is a difference. And that is the difference Bhagavan is bringing out in 7. Which sloka was it? 18. Yeah, 7.18. Now we go to the 4th topic. From verses 20 to 30, Bhagavan deals with 2 types of bhakti. Sakama bhakti, Nishkama bhakti. What is Sakama bhakti? Any form of worship through which I seek the material world is Sakama bhakti. In Sakama bhakti, we've already seen this concept. In Sakama bhakti, God becomes the means and world becomes the goal. Very unfortunate, but that is the state of affairs. Sakama bhakti is not sinful. It is allowed. Vedas allow it. Karma Kanda is all full of that only. Vedas allow it. It is allowed in our Shastras. And Bhagavan will no doubt bless us. If I'm a sincere Sakama Bhakta, Bhagavan will bless us and give us what we want. But there is a darker side to Sakama Bhakti. What am I seeking in Sakama Bhakti? I am seeking Apara Prakriti. I am only seeking material world. Because I am seeking Apara Prakriti in Sakama Bhakti, anything I get through the Sakama Bhakti is not going to stay with me. Either I depart from the world before that departs, or that departs before I depart. Either way, I lose it. So they will never give me happiness, never give me fulfillment, never give me security. What is Nishkama Bhakti? Nishkama Bhakti is that in which the person seeks spiritual progress and discovers Paraprakriti. So in Nishkama Bhakti, God is the means and God is the goal. Bhagavan is the means and Bhagavan is the goal. This Nishkama Bhakta's actions are all predominantly for spiritual progress. But he may be a grahastha. So some material benefits may come as a side benefit. But his focus is always on attaining that ultimate goal. And that ultimate goal is moksha alone. So Bhagavan says, I am okay for you to start with Sakama Bhakti. But don't get stuck there. Please graduate to Nishkama Bhakti. Only way you will attain moksha, the very important middle step, is you have to be a Nishkama Bhakta. Every Bhakta has to go through both types of Bhakti. Nishkama Bhakti is impossible without Sakama Bhakti. Sakama Bhakti is incomplete without Nishkama Bhakti. What is the goal of a Nishkama Bhakta? Jara Marana Mokshaya Mamashritya Yatanti Ye Te Brahmhaptat Vidhu Krishnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakilam. 7.29. The goal of Nishkama Bhaktas is to go beyond old age and death, which means going beyond time. We have a beautiful Vedic mantra, Mrityunjaya mantra. Trambakam yajamage sukantim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityor mukshi yamamritaat. So in this mantra, we are seeking liberation from death. That does not mean I am asking for this body not to die. Anything which is born will undergo sixfold modification. We have already seen. Anything which has birth will have death. Anything which has birth will have death. There is no escape. Through this mantra, I am asking for liberation from samsara. Liberation from samsara means liberation from the cycle of repeated births and deaths. Liberation from transmigration. And this means I am asking for going beyond time. If I want to go beyond time, there is only one thing that is beyond time. What is that? Para Prakriti is the only thing that is beyond time. Apara Prakriti is not beyond time. Why it is not beyond time? It undergoes sixfold modification. Asti, Jayate, Vardate, Viparinamate, Apakshiyate, Vinashyati. The sixfold modification, entire Apara Prakriti goes through. And so it cannot be beyond time. The second, so what is moksha? Discovery of Para Prakriti is moksha. Discovery of Para Prakriti is moksha. And those bhaktas who use bhakti for that discovery is a Nishkama Bhakta. Sakama Bhakta is not using bhakti for this purpose. Sakama Bhakta is using bhakti for what purpose? For worldly goals. But a Nishkama Bhakta is using bhakti for discovering Para Prakriti. So now Bhagavan puts a googly. Instead of saying Nishkama Bhaktas will have total Ishvara Jnanam, he uses technical words in verses 29 and 30. We already seen 29, half of it. 29 and 30, he's using technical words and to explain some concepts. And what are the words he uses? He's using karma, brahma, adhyatmam, adibhutam, atidaivam, atiyajnam. These 6 factors put together is nothing but para prakriti and apara prakriti. Instead of saying Nishkama Bhaktis will know para prakriti and apara prakriti, Bhagavan says this Nishkama Bhakta will know these 6 things. Arjuna gets confused because these are technical terms. So these 6 terms that he is using plus Prayana Kala Ishvara Smaranam, which is the important topic of chapter 8, that becomes the seed of chapter 8. But before we go to 8, we have to answer a very, very important question. How do I graduate from Sakama Bhakti to Nishkama Bhakti? We spoke about 2 Bhaktis. We said Sakama Bhakti is selfish Bhakti, Nishkama Bhakti is selfless Bhakti. How do I graduate? Bhagavan has said, unless you are a Nishkama Bhakta, you cannot attain moksha. So now I have to first go from Sakama Bhakti to Nishkama Bhakti. When I get Purushartha Nishchaya, I will graduate from Sakama Bhakti to Nishkama Bhakti. Purushartha Nishchaya means I have a very clear understanding that the 3 Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama Purushartha, will keep me in samsara. Dharma, Artha, Kama Purushartha will keep me in samsara. I understand Artha and Kama will keep me in samsara because Artha means wealth, Kama means desire. Those will keep me in samsara. Yes, how can Dharma keep me in samsara? Dharma should not keep me in samsara. It should take me to the right place, which means I should eventually get moksha. The answer to this question is in Kathopanishad. Anyatra dharmat, anyatra dharmat, anyatra smat krita kritat, anyatra bhuta cha bhavya cha, yat tat pashyati tatvad. So Nachiketa, Uttama Adhikari Nachiketa is asking his guru, please tell me that which is beyond dharma and adharma, which is beyond cause and effect, which is beyond past and future. We will focus only on dharma. So Nachiketa was clear, even dharma, when it is done for earning punyam, will not take you to moksha. That is why he is asking, tell me that which is beyond dharma and adharma. Dharma, the same dharma when I do for attaining chitta shuddhi, when I do dharma karma, and I tell Bhagavan, I don't want the punyam, convert this to chitta shuddhi, give me jnana vairagya siddhyartham. In the sankalpa, if I say, give me jnana vairagya siddhyartham, then Bhagavan is going to give me chitta shuddhi. And when the chitta shuddhi comes, it will take me to a Shrotriya Brahmanishta Guru who will give me Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam and it will give me liberation. So I want to graduate from Nishkama Bhakti and attain moksha. Shreyascha preyascha manushyametah tau samparitya vivinakti dhiraha shreyo hi dhiro viprayaso vrinite preyo mando yogakshemat vrinite. Kathopanishad 1.2.2. Every human being is approached by 2 things. Approached by Shreyas and Preyas, good and pleasant. The wise man distinguishes between the 2 and chooses Shreyas. He chooses what is good. Only that is good is going to take me to moksha. The men of poor intellect, they don't choose Shreyas, they choose Preyas. So, in the words of chapter 7, the wise man chooses para prakriti. The men of lower intellect choose apara prakriti. They choose apara prakriti. Why? They want the pleasures of the body. So, when will I choose apara prakriti? When will I choose para prakriti? When the entire universe looks flaky to me. Flaky, which means I understand anything I get in this universe, the joy is mixed with sorrow. When I come to the conclusion, only then I will choose Shreyas. Until then, I will keep choosing Preyas. Bhagavan has no problem with this. The problem is only for us, not for Bhagavan. So when will the universe look flaky to me? Parikshalokan karmachithan brahmano nirvedamayan nastya kratakratena Tadvijnanartham sagurumeva bhigachet samitpani shrotriyam brahmanishtam. Mundaka Upanishad 1.2.2. I have examined this world and I have come to this conclusion. This is apara prakriti cannot give me happiness, cannot give me fulfillment, cannot give me any security. Anything I am getting in from this apara prakriti, anything is always coming from with some problem. Either the problem I am discovering today, or I am discovering tomorrow, or discovering after 1 decade, but there is a problem. Hence, I have made a firm resolve. What is the resolution I have taken? I want to graduate to Nishkama Bhakti, approach a Shrotriya Brahmanishta Guru. So I keep using this term. Shrotriya Brahmanishta Guru means a guru who is well versed with scriptures and who is also abiding in that Paramarthika Satyam Para Prakriti all the time. We need a combination. Only when we have a combination, he'll be able to give me the Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam and I can get that Jnanam. So I make a firm resolve to graduate to Nishkama Bhakti, go to a Shrotriya Brahmanishta Guru and seek this supreme knowledge. Thus, Bhagavan completes chapter 7, which is called Jnana Vijnana Yoga. It is called Jnana Vijnana Yoga since it deals with both aspects of Ishvara. The lower nature of Ishvara, Apara Prakriti, the higher nature of Ishvara, which is Para Prakriti. Shall I move on to 8? Okay. 8 should take a lot less time because 7 is a very, very important chapter. So I dedicated a bit more time for 7. 8 will be faster. In the Madhyama Shatkam, consisting of chapters 7 to 12, the sadhana highlighted is Saguna Ishvara Upasana. Saguna Ishvara Upasana means meditation on any form of Saguna Ishvara. Now, Upasana is of 2 types. We have already seen this terminology. Sakama Ishvara Upasana, Nishkama Ishvara Upasana. So, 2 types of Upasana. And Sakama Upasana is the Upasana I do where I seek material benefits. Nishkama Upasana is the Upasana I do for spiritual progress. Upasanas are done for attaining siddhis. All the siddhis is Sakama, Nishkama, it is Sakama. Because those siddhis are never going to give me moksha. Upasanas done for attaining higher loka, Swarga loka, Bhuvar loka, Mahar loka, Swarga loka, all that is also Sakama Upasana. Because I go to the higher loka and the higher loka will not give me moksha. It will unceremoniously push me down when the credit balance of the punyam goes to 0. In Nishkama Upasana, one meditates on Saguna Ishvara and the goal is only spiritual progress. So this Nishkama Upasana is the topic of Madhyama Shatkam of Gita. Madhyama Shatkam means chapters 7 to 12. This Nishkama Upasana is also of 2 types. In the first type, the person practices Nishkama Upasana for a length of time. And he has a particular goal. And his goal is, I want to get the qualifications to study Jnana Yoga, to pursue Jnana Yoga, which means I want to get Sadhana Chatushtayam. I want to get Viveka, Vairagya, Shamadhishatka Sampatti, Mumukshatvam. Okay. So upon getting the qualification, he withdraws from Nishkama Upasana and pursues Jnana Yoga. Why should he withdraw from Nishkama Upasana? He has to withdraw from Nishkama Upasana because Nishkama Upasana, Nishkama Saguna Ishvara Upasana is an Upasana on Saguna Ishvara who is full of attributes. What is the definition of Ishvara? Maya Sahitam Brahma is Ishvara. And what is the definition of Maya? Maya is Trigunatmika Maya, which means 3 gunas, which means all attributes come automatically. So Ishvara is Maya plus Brahma. So when I meditate on the Saguna Ishvara with attributes, it will clash directly with Jnana Yoga because Jnana Yoga is all about learning, understanding Nirguna Brahman. Understanding within quote, Nirguna Brahman. Nirguna Brahman means no gunas. No guna means no attributes. In Saguna Ishvara Upasana, I am doing meditation on Ishvara with full of attributes. Here, I am pursuing Jnana Yoga where it is, I am pursuing Jnana Yoga where the focus is Nirguna Brahman, where there are no attributes. So there is a clash. To avoid the clash, this withdrawal is required. When I say withdrawal, don't take it literally. It does not mean I can't do any prayer. Earlier, this Nishkama Saguna Ishvara Upasana was my predominant activity. Now, my predominant activity is Jnana Yoga, which means Shravanam, Mananam, Nidhyasanam. I am downgrading the Nishkama Saguna Ishvara Upasana to a small little activity. There is no compulsion that I have to do it, but my mind may not give it up totally. So a little bit of puja is done, but bulk of the time is spent on Shravanam, Mananam, Nidhyasanam. So now Bhagavan wants all devotees to graduate to Jnana Yoga and attain Jivan Mukti in this very life. But for those who are unable to give up Nishkama Upasana, Nishkama Saguna Ishvara Upasana, and graduate to Jnana Yoga, Bhagavan is giving chapter 8. So in this chapter, Bhagavan is dealing with the second type of Nishkama Upasana. The first type is he practices the Upasana. After some time, when he gets the qualification, he withdraws, goes to a Shrotriya Brahmanishta Guru and pursues Jnana Yoga. The second type is chapter 8, which we are going to see. So under this type, the person practices Nishkama Ishvara Upasana all his life. He doesn't leave it ever. The predominant job, the job is the wrong word, the predominant time that he allocates in his life is Saguna Ishvara, Nishkama Saguna Ishvara Upasana. He does not do any, this is the main activity that he does. In other words, he does not come to Vedanta Shravana Manana Nidhyasanam. He does not come. So when he dies as an Ajnani. Ajnani means he does not have Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam. He does not have self-knowledge. Why does he take this path? Why does he not graduate and go to pursue Jnana Yoga? There could be many reasons. He may have felt, I still don't have the qualifications, so I have to continue to do Saguna Ishvara Upasana. He may not have found a Shrotriya Brahmanishta Guru, because unless you find a Guru who's going to give you this Atmanyanam, it is not easy to get this knowledge. It is a very rare knowledge, Bhagavan says. Thirdly, he may have developed a very strong attachment to Saguna Ishvara Upasana or Saguna Ishvara. This is highly likely the reason for many of them. So when I do puja and upasana for my Ishta Devata for 10 years, and that was my predominant activity in my life, it is extremely difficult for me to give that up and make something else the predominant aspect of my life. This is the problem. So what happens to this person is the topic of chapter 8. So having meditated on Saguna Ishvara all his life, his mind is totally absorbed in the thought of Ishvara. This thought of Ishvara has penetrated and gone to his subconscious mind. It is not there in conscious mind alone, which means even if he is in coma, he will have this thought of Ishvara. Even when he is sleeping, he will have this thought of Ishvara. Why? It is sitting in his subconscious mind. Bhagavan says, this Upasaka, Saguna Ishvara Upasaka, will not get liberation because he is not pursued Jnana Yoga. But because he was a very good devotee, Nishkama Ishvara Upasaka, very good devotee, he will travel through a special route. And that special route is called Shuklagati. And through the Shuklagati, he will travel and he will go to Brahmaloka. So this Nishkama Saguna Ishvara Upasaka successfully avoided Jnana Yoga. The reason can be anything, but he has successfully avoided Jnana Yoga in the Manushya Loka, in this birth. But when he travels to Brahmaloka, he cannot avoid it. Who teaches him the same Jnana Yoga which he avoided? Chaturmukha Brahma. Brahmaji teaches him. So what he successfully avoided here, he learns there. But he is going to Brahmaloka, and Brahmaloka is a very conducive atmosphere for Jnana Yoga. And also, he is gone with so much of Upasana, which means his mind is very pure and his mind has got single pointedness. So, no detailed explanation Brahmaji needs to give. Brahmaji needs to say Tattvamasi, and this Upasaka will say Aham Brahmasmi. Okay, that topic we will take up another day. So he will effortlessly gain Nirguna Brahma Jnanam and attain liberation from samsara. This route is called as Krama Mukti, and this is the topic of Akshara Brahma Yoga. Bhagavan does not want to promote Krama Mukti. Bhagavan, why? Because it postpones liberation. Bhagavan wants all of us to go to Jnana Yoga in this very birth and attain Jivan Mukti in this very birth. He does not want us to take this path. But Bhagavad Gita is a Shastra. A Shastra cannot leave out one aspect. Krama Mukti is also one way you can attain moksha. Jivan Mukti is a preferred path, but Krama Mukti is an alternative path. So Bhagavan wants to give this alternative path, and hence Akshara Brahma Yoga is fitted in the middle of the Gita, although it is completely different from chapter 7 and completely different from chapter 9. So we will now divide this Akshara Brahma Yoga into 5 topics. In verses 1 and 2, Arjuna is asking 7 questions. We have already seen those six aspects in 7.2930, 29 and 7.30. Now, Bhagavan is answering. So, Arjuna is asking these questions in the first 2 verses. Bhagavan is answering 6 questions in just 2 verses, which means all one line, one word answer in 2 verses, verses 3 and 4. Bhagavan takes up the 7th question. Prayana Kala Ishvara Smaranam, remembering God at the time of death. And he takes up this topic from verses 5 to 14. And this is the most important part of this chapter. From verse 15 to 22, Bhagavan is discussing 2 types of goals. We have already seen these 2 types of goals. Shreyas, Preyas, we have already seen, so we will go through it very fast. Verses 23 to 27, the 2 paths that lead us to the 2 goals are given. And the 2 types of travelers who take these 2 paths are given. And conclusion is given by Bhagavan in 28. So first topic, the first 2 verses, 7 questions. The 6 questions are, Arjuna is asking, what is Adhyatmam? What is Adhibhutam? Ati Daivam, Ati Yajnam, Brahman, Karma. 7th question, what is the significance of remembering God at the time of death? Prayana Kala Ishvara Smaranam. So the second topic is, Bhagavan is answering the 6 questions very fast. We will also see it very fast. Adhyatmam and Brahman are one and the same. In the language of chapter 7, Para Prakriti. Consciousness principle. Adhyatmam is used in the context of Jivatma, microcosm. And Brahman is used in the context of Paramatma, macrocosm. Adhibhutam is the material universe made up of 5 elements. Ati Daivam is the Hiranyagarbha Tattvam, which means the total mind which governs this material universe. Ati Yajnam means Ishvara Tattvam, which we have seen in great detail in chapter 7. That Ishvara Tattvam is 1 step above Hiranyagarbha. And this Ishvara Tattvam presides over the laws of karma. And he is the Karma Paladata. He is the one who decided that I should be born in this world with this set of prarabdham. And he is the one who decided every birth of mine until this birth. Next is karma. Karma means collectively the punya and papa of all jivas. And this karma is nothing but the blueprint for the manifestation of this universe. This is not an individual karma we are talking about. We are talking about the karma of all jivas collectively. Third topic, important topic. Bhagavan is discussing Prayana Kala Ishvara Smaranam from 5 to 14. Bhagavan is explaining the significance of remembering God and the methodology to remember the God. The significance is whatever is remembered at the time of death indicates your predominant personality. You cannot manipulate your last thought. If material wealth is my predominant personality, at the time of death, I will only remember material wealth. If Ishvara Smaranam was my predominant personality, I will remember only Ishvara at the time of death. For such a person, the final thought before death will also be Bhagavan. So we cannot manipulate it. Why we cannot manipulate it? I don't know when I'm going to die. And when I'm going to die, what thought comes, I also don't have any control. Free will goes down drastically as I age. Only habits are staying with me in old age. So how can I influence my final thought? During my young age, using free will, I should develop Shubha Vasana, auspicious practices, auspicious desires. And when I consistently cultivate Shubha Vasana, then that will saturate my subconscious mind with Ishvara Chintanam. And when my subconscious mind is filled with Ishvara Chintanam, then I don't need to worry. Even if I'm in coma, my death is with the thought of Bhagavan. Through this practice, we can make Ishvara the predominant thought, and the last thought will automatically be the thought of Ishvara. So Bhagavan is saying in 8.7, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusvara yudhyacha mayyarpitamano buddhihi mame vaishyasya samshayah. So Bhagavan is telling Arjuna, one who has dedicated his mind to understanding me will come to me. There is no doubt about this. Now, for remembering God, we all use some symbol. It can be a vigraha, a photo, or it can even be a symbol like Shivalinga, Saligrama, etc. Bhagavan is introducing Onkara Upasana here in this chapter. That is also a symbol. But the point to understand is we need a symbol, because without a symbol, it becomes abstract. So that symbol can be Shivalinga, Saligrama, it can be a vigraha of your Ishtadevata, it can be a photo of the god, it can be any symbol that comforts you. And this Nishkama Upasaka uses one of these symbols to remember God throughout his life. He develops an intimate relationship with Bhagavan. By doing puja, japa, aradhana every day, he develops an intimate relationship, and then thus he remembers God throughout his life and also at the time of death. Just before his death, what did Bhishma do? He asked everyone to go away. He called Lord Krishna and said, Bhagavan, can you stand in front of me? Everybody is gone because Bhishma didn't want to see any of his relatives. His last thought, he wanted Bhagavan only. He called Bhagavan and said, please stand in front of me. Now I am going to depart. So, thus the Nishkama Upasaka effortlessly remembers God at the time of death. No effort whatsoever, because his predominant lifestyle was remembering God alone. Ishvara Smaranam all the time. Going to the fourth topic. From verses 15 to 22, the two types of goals are spoken. In the language of Kathopanishad, Shreyas, Preyas. The goal of Shreyas, Ishvara, symbolizes peace, security, happiness, fulfillment, immortality, etc. All of us want that. But what do we choose? We don't choose that. We choose Apara Prakriti. We choose Preyas. In the language of chapter 7, I want security, happiness, fulfillment, but I choose Apara Prakriti. Brahma bhuvanal lokaha punaravartinorjuna mamupetyatu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. So Bhagavan is saying all the 14 lokas are subject to time and space. But one, which means what? When it is subject to time and space means I am in transmigration. From one birth, I'll go to another birth. But Arjuna, one who is attained me is never reborn. We can use the world for transactions, but we should never look for security or happiness from the world. The last topic, verses 23 to 27. The two paths and the two goals. The two paths are Krishna Gati, Shukla Gati. Krishna Gati, dark path. Nothing to do with Bhagavan Krishna. This is Krishna Gati, dark path. And this dark path will lead you to finite goals. And Shukla Gati means bright path. It will take you to Brahmaloka. Krishna Gati, if you take, it will take you to the 5 lokas below Brahmaloka, which means Bhuvar Loka, Suvar Loka, Mahar Loka, Jana Loka, Tapoloka. All those lokas, I can enjoy life. But when my credit balance goes down, I will be unceremoniously shifted. Brahmaloka also is finite because Brahmaji also has 100 years. Counted differently, not 100 years the way we know. Counted differently. It runs into trillions of years. Brahma, which means finite. Brahmaji also has, the Brahmaloka is also finite. But when you go to Brahmaloka, Brahmaji will give Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam and I attain moksha. And that is a big difference. So this path is called as Krama Mukti. Which path? Shukla Gati, which takes me to Brahmaloka, where Brahmaji is the Guru, and he gives me this Atmanyanam, and this Atmanyanam results in me attaining moksha, and this path is called Krama Mukti. Now Bhagavan talks about 2 types of travelers. When we have 2 paths, Krishna Gati, Shukla Gati, it is by default you have to have 2 types of travelers. So who takes Krishna Gati? A Karmi takes Krishna Gati. Karmi means a Vedic ritualist. He performs all Vedika karmas. And this includes Nitya Agnihotram. Because Nitya Agnihotram is placed here in our tradition. I am mentioning it because even a Nitya Agnihotri will not go to Brahmaloka. There is a chance of him going to Brahmaloka if he renounces Swargaloka. But he is not renouncing Swargaloka. Nitya Agnihotri says, I want Swargaloka. I do Pancha Mahayajna every day and I say I want Swargaloka, which means I'm choosing the material world. So they'll all go. They'll travel by Krishna Gati and they'll go to those 5 upper lokas or higher lokas. The person who goes through Shukla Gati, so the person who goes through Krishna Gati is a Karmi. The person who goes through Shukla Gati is whom? That is chapter 8. It is the Nishkama Saguna Ishvara Upasaka, the person who was dedicated to the Ishvara's Aradhana, Ishvara Upasana, Ishvara Puja all the time. But one thing should be remembered. Chapter 8 talks about Ajnanis at both levels. Jnani is never discussed in chapter 8. Why? A Jnani has no travel. Jnani has already attained Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam, and he is, when he drops the body, he is already attained Videha Mukti. No travel for him. Ajnani Karmi or Ajnani Upasaka are the 2 types of persons that we are talking about. Ajnani Karmi, an ignorant person who is focused on doing Vedic rituals. He goes to these 5 lokas. Ajnani Nishkama Ishvara Upasaka, also Ajnani. Why? Because he still not got Atmanyanam. He travels through Shukla Gati and goes to Brahmaloka. So Bhagavan finally says in verse 28, he concludes and says, if you have to choose between karma and upasana, never choose karma. Always choose upasana. And then he glorifies this Nishkama Ishvara Upasaka and says, this goal that he has chosen is superior to every goal. Thus, chapter 8 is also concluded. Hari Om. We are already at 12:30, so maybe 1-2 questions.
Yes, thank you, Jai Ganpati ji. The floor is now open for questions. Participants, you'll all be able to unmute yourselves. So if you have a question, please address that question. Our request to you is, if you have a question, please keep it in the question form. Please make it brief. so that others will also have a chance to ask their questions, and our speaker for the day can also answer it in a crisp manner. I will also be monitoring the chat. So if there is anyone who has got a question in the chat, please do put the questions in the chat. Happy to monitor that also. Srinivasanji, we can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
I think he's going to rejoin.
Rejoining. Okay.
Yes. So anyone else? Any other questions in the meanwhile?
Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you, Ganpati ji. You've given wonderful explanation with reference to Upanishads and all. I have one question about the Shukla Gati and Krishna Gati. So, Shukla Gati, what I understood from your explanation is anyone who is worshipping God in Sagwan form can get it, or because sometimes like I'm taking deriving from my real life experiences, sometimes we come across people who do a lot of worship and all, but when you look at their actions, they are very different. They could be very judgmental and all. So I always get confused as to someone who does that much of prayer and all, how does their action stay like that? So could you explain a bit on that, please?
Firstly, not everybody who worships God will go on Shuklagati. To go on Shuklagati, you have to be a Nishkama Ishvara Upasaka. What does it mean? It means God should be my goal. I should have no worldly goals. By the way, it is much more difficult to be a Nishkama Ishvara Upasaka all your life than pursuing Karma Yoga and do some Upasana, attain some Chitta Shuddhi, and go to a Guru and get Jnanam right in this birth. That is relatively easy, is my opinion. This is much more difficult because here we are talking about worship of God as your predominant activity in your life, which means your work is also not predominant. Your family is also not predominant. You're not ditching the family. You're supporting the family, but that is not predominant. You have no interest in anything in this world. I am worshipping God and I am worshipping God alone. I have no time to be judgmental on anybody. I have no time to discuss anything else. I am only interested in serving the God, doing japa, doing puja, doing meditation on the Saguna Ishvara. So that type of person is quite rare to see. He will get Shuklagati, and the key is this Ishvara Smaranam, the thought of God should go into my subconscious mind. I'll give you a real life example. Recently, I visited a hospital in India and to see someone who was bedridden. And that person was sharing the bed with another lady who was probably 70s. She met with a very bad accident and she was in coma for many days. But continuously chanting Vishnu Sahasranama. Son is calling her, Amma, Amma. She cannot respond. Continuously chanting Lalita Sahasranama. Subconscious mind, Vishnu Sahasranama and Lalita Sahasranama has gone into the subconscious mind. If it is a Ishvara, Nishkama Saguna Ishvara Upasaka who is in that league where Bhagavan alone is there in my mind, you will take Shuklagati.
So it's not like, say, anyone who departs in Shukla Paksha is getting Shukla Gati. Not like that.
Yes. Criminals also depart on Shukla Paksha.
Right. But then another thing, because sometimes in Gita Mahatmya, there are some examples of some birds, animals, or criminals also who did some fasting accidentally because they did not have access to food and water, and then they like got nirvana. So from that, I have a question. I mean, slightly related, but we are on the topic of Gita. Like, does one have to be consciously thinking of God, or is it just accidentally this kind of thing happens? Let's say on the Ekadashi day, one ends up fasting and they happen to get nirvana.
All those prescriptions and injunctions are given for us to cultivate Shubhavasana. See, Bhagavan in chapter 3, you must have seen. In chapter 3, Bhagavan says Karma Yoga will take you to moksha. Karma Yoga will not take you to moksha. Bhagavan is merely marketing Karma Yoga because when you go into Karma Yoga, you are on an irreversible path, spiritual path. And eventually you will go to Jnana Yoga and get moksha. In the same way, our job is to cultivate these. When they tell you fast on Ekadashi day, they want you to actually have some tapas. Fasting on Ekadashi day is not going to give you moksha. If Nishkama Ishvara Upasaka himself cannot get moksha and he has to travel by Shukla Gati to Brahmaloka and get Atmajanam from Brahmaji, what to talk about all these people? It is merely a statement to make us become good personalities. That's all.
Thank you.
We'll welcome at least one more question. There's one comment in the chat asking which is the book that you're using for reference, Jaganpati ji?
I don't use any book. I use my guru's teachings and then I have a detailed notes of his teaching and that my notes is my reference. Whatever is the text, whether it is Gita or Gita Bhashyam or Upanishads, I simply follow his lectures and then I make my own personal notes. And based on the notes, I study again. And that is the basis of even this lecture.
As we are waiting for other questions, I just want to take a minute to also share, since there are a lot of people who have joined since we started the Parayan, just wanted to share that our next big event is that we will be having the art competition for children. That's next week. So please, the registrations are still open. So if there are children whom you know who are interested in participating, please do let them know. Then, of course, we will have our series of the next Parayan will be on the 20th of September. So the online Gita Parayan and lecture, it happens every odd Saturday of the month. So the first, the third, and the fifth Saturdays of the month is when we will have our online Parayan and Satsang. So just a quick announcement regarding the events which are going to be there. Any more questions, Srinivasanji? Not sure if your mic is working. Or if anyone else has another question, we probably have time for one more question before we conclude. So anyone else? Okay, it looks like we don't have other questions. So I just want to take this opportunity on behalf of Gita Jayanti to thank our chanters for today, Savitri ji and Rashmika. Then we also have a big thanks to convey to Jai Ganapati ji for a beautiful explanation, for a very precise explanation, sticking close to the Shastra and giving it in a very lucid manner such that we can all understand. Thank you so much, Jai Ganapati ji. And just a reminder to everyone that we will have the next Gita Parayan and Satsang session on the 20th of September, 2 weeks from now, 20th of September at 10:30 a.m. So we look forward to seeing all of you there. Please do encourage your friends and your relatives also to attend the Gita Parayan and Satsang. Thank you all very much. Hari Om, Jai Shri Krishna.
Shall we do Purnamada or no need?
Yes, we are going to chant Purnamada. I just wanted to chant this. And can I invite you to chant Purnamada and do the closing prayers, Jai Ji?
Okay, sure. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ
Hari Om. Thank you.